If you built systems before but never stopped to check whether they're still working for you, stick around. In this video, I share my simple approach to reviewing your setup so your systems keep serving you instead of quietly running your life. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Krosch. Over the last decade, I've built thousands of AI workflows and automations for business, and now I'm helping individuals build their own personal automation systems and create a better relationship with their devices at the same time. And this is the final pillar of my 6-pillar personal automation system, and it's called reflection. It's the pillar that reviews everything that's come before it and closes a loop on the entire system. And the problem here is what you don't measure, you can't change, but there's an added layer here. What you measure but you never reflect on, you also can't change as well. See, most people tend to automate everything except the final check, which actually looks to see whether any of it worked. And this happens in 3 key areas. First is having data without a review, creating reports but not actually looking at them to see if there's been meaningful impact. Second is optimizing the inputs but ignoring the outputs. So adding new apps but not actually auditing whether they're delivering value. And third is doing reflection on demand instead of a schedule. Doing it ad hoc as opposed to on a regular cadence just isn't as effective as doing it regularly. And reflection isn't about journaling, it's about measuring whether the stack actually points where you said it would. It's about closing the loop between intent and outcome. And the reframe here is that you can't automate this step, and that's the point. You have to put in the work to review the whole system to understand what's working, what's not, and what needs to change. And so reflection is a pillar that actually closes the loop between what your intent was and what the actual outcome was. And it's the only pillar that earns its keep by doing less, and there's 4 key cadences that keep it running. There's a weekly tempo, a monthly money pass, a quarterly attention check, and then an annual letter to yourself for next year. And the key behavior here is to be able to look back and review and decide whether the outcomes are still aligned with your intent. So here are the 4 cadences that keep reflection running. First is a weekly review every Friday afternoon to look back at the week, review, and decide whether the outcomes are still in line with your intent. Second is a monthly money pass, so looking at your banking app and looking at the purchases that you were glad that you made, looking at those that you weren't glad that you made, and looking at those that you completely forgot about. Third is a quarterly screen time look, looking at screen time and just seeing where your attention's going and what apps are consuming most of your time. And fourth is an annual letter to yourself for next year. So in 12 months, where would you like to be and what would you like to tell yourself? And so the practice here is that reflection is a pillar that audits the other 5, and without it, the whole system would just run blind. But here are 3 ways that reflection can actually break down. First is having dashboard addiction, making far too many tweaks and updates to the tracker rather than reviewing the system itself. Second is doing reflection without action. So taking note of things without actually following through and making the tweaks and adjustments required. And third is falling into an annual review trap. Every 12 months is far too long to actually review the system, and a more regular cadence is what's required. So here's my 7-day roadmap to creating a reflection system that actually fires. On day 1, you want to block the slot. Put 15 minutes every week on a Friday afternoon into your calendar for your review. Day 2, you want to select 3 inputs. These will be the ones that you review in that session. 1 for time, 1 for money, and 1 for attention. On days 3 to 6, don't reflect yet, just let the system run. And on day 7, it's your first Friday review. Open each input and write 1 sentence for each, what you observed and what you noticed. So reflection is a pillar that makes the other 5 pillars worth running. For capture, it gives reflection something to read. The weekly review is the inbox being reviewed. For routine, reflection surfaces which routines held and which ones quietly drifted. For smart shopping, the decide once, watch forever mantra only works if reflection notices what you didn't buy. For signal, well, signal made the noise quieter, but reflection checks whether what got through was actually worth it. And for cleanup, well, cleanup is the action the monthly money pass actually triggers. And if you think about it, the other pillars produce a signal and reflection is the receiver. Without it, the whole system runs blind. So how can you get started with your own reflection system? Here are 3 quick steps. Step 1 is putting a recurring 15-minute block in your calendar every Friday afternoon to review. Step 2 is picking 3 inputs, 1 for time, 1 for money, and 1 for attention that you'll review each Friday. And step 3, on that Friday, review each one and just write down 1 sentence, what you observed and what you noticed. And that's reflection, the final pillar of my personal automation system. Set a regular rhythm to review what's working and your systems will keep earning their place without running on autopilot. And if you're interested to find out more about the other 5 pillars, the framework video is just linked up here. And if this is the type of personal automation you've been looking for, subscribe for more and I'll see you in the next video.